it is. Our directors have met and planned this event together, and I asked them, what do people need? And they said, please tell them not what to do, but how you did it. And I see, Kelly, that you're loving that. And so I'm gonna tell you how I did it. I have been an entrepreneur with no one else writing me a paycheck for 27 and a half years. And so everything that I'm going to share with you today is about business. It's not to be critical or say you didn't do this or it should be my way. It's literally just my life and how I executed sustaining myself and making the right amount of money so that this could be my only job. I paid close attention when you all shared last night, and the number one answer on the board was that you need money to do your dreams. We also need money to make this our job, and our husband is not going to be supportive no matter how cute we are if at the end of the day we're not happily making money. And so this is a more business class that we're going to have right now, and I'm going to bring you into the actions that I took, and most importantly along with that, how I think in order to succeed as an entrepreneur. This is going to be a boy or girl yes or no question. I want you to write down on your sheet, if you love your life, you love it, I want you to put yes. If you do not love it, I want you to just put no. You can put maybe if you're like, I'm not obeying your rules, I really do straddle. This is the most important thing I want you to know. I love my life because I'm designing it and living it according to my terms, not what a company is outlaying for me. There is no shame in the game of people who choose and want to be employees and work for others. So I want a big disclaimer right here so that there's no one offended, no hurt feelings. We're big girls. But I'm going to tell you my story. My story is I have a business degree. I work for a Fortune 500 company in Atlanta. I was a human resources manager. I moved up very quickly coming out of college. They promoted me in a year and gave me a gigantic salary raise and a lot of more responsibility. And I always loved business. But after 3 years of watching women come to work crying because they missed their children's stuff, and being in HR and knowing the pay scales and how they would not meet the standard of living changes and did not make a change financially, I looked down that long future road and I thought, I've chosen to be a businesswoman. And I was 25 to 7 during that time. And I thought, when I'm 40, I don't want to be like them. I wouldn't trade places. They are worn out and they're only 40 and they're missing the most important people in their life for this pay scale to be told you get here at this time, you leave here, this is how long you get for lunch, and this is how many days a year you can be sick. And I valued myself, and this is prior to me knowing about the Mary Kay opportunity. So my personal story was, I want to be the owner, and I want to love what I do, as someone trained on last night. Kelly did, Steve Jobs, I believe. And we spend a lot of time at work. So this morning, although I'm a 52-year-old woman and I got 2 or 3 hours less sleep than I normally do, I woke up and I went, oh, because I have 2 homes. I'm like, I'm at the lake. They're here. Yes, I love this. And I instantly felt like I was extremely rested with no coffee, and I had the chills. And I'm not lying to you. I'm an 8. We're very straight up. We say what we mean what we say. It's very authentic. The first step that I took is I got alone by myself. Some of you do well if you're surrounded in a coffee shop with lots of scurry. Some, when you're having a deep moment of personal change, you need to be alone, turn off the glow. Joe has the children. He knows it's going to take me 2-3 hours. and you get to your happy place. Once I went to Mary Kay seminar, which I went to when I was in Mary Kay 4 months, I was blown away. And I came home and I got alone and I said, I'm going to design my life. I'm going to try to do this. But I need a minute to figure out how that's going to go, because we have to have my money. The reason I wrote a book in my iStory in your packet is so that you can see where I came from. So I won't go into that. I decided how I was going to think, and I drew a line in the sand. There's something called an invisible wall. You may have had training in it. I'll tell you what it's like. If you came up to me and said some stuff that isn't true or negative and it was against me and whatever, and we have family members like this that we can't get away from because they're family, I'm listening, I have people skills, I'm Jesus, I love you, but you're not allowed in, but you don't even know it. It repels off of me like a dunk. Nope, you cannot mess with me. And I decided I'm an entrepreneur, this is how I think, this is how I roll, I'm good. And then I worked very, very hard as a 25-year-old woman on personal development. Had a college degree, was a valedictorian of my high school class. I'm always reading, working, improving, exercising, trying to eat the right stuff, growing, because I own the company. Wake up. Nobody writes me a check this week. There's not one coming, whether I do a good job, bad, show up, and I'm at home and not really working when I'm supposed to be. Nobody. It makes me shake. One of my top director friends, I said, why do you do it? How do you do it? She said, fear of lack. When you're an entrepreneur, you better wake up and chase a lion. If you're going to be chasing, you better be healthy, filled, and growing. This is a real class. Many of you, if you're honest, do not want to go back on Monday. You don't love it. There's a lion chasing you. But if you do these things, you can get out. If you don't want to get out and God puts you there, stay. But this is about me and my story and what I really lived. And I wanted out. I was hungry. And I was humble. And I remember the day my director said, I have never had anybody listen to me so much, or call me so much, or be so excited about their car. And if you read my story, you'll see why I was so excited. I was so excited to upsell a lip gloss because it meant $7, and that's how much I made an hour. When I left corporate America and moved here to support Todd in his career, went from executive, young executive, I mean, I was whipping him, Ann Taylor. I was whipping it with the guys. I'm telling, not that one. Whoops, sorry. I was working with men. Working with, not working in. Okay, let's stay back to our notes. I set a clear goal of where I was headed, just like Joyce did. If you do not have a picture in your team building notebook that you're sharing with people that gets your heart every time, that's my number one team building tip. I showed them, this is what I'm doing. This company gives cars and I'm going to be a director. And I'm looking for 30 ladies who want to be part of my journey or who want to be a hostess or be my customer. I was like a child with no pride filter sharing. And I've chosen you to share with today, Laura, because you were the sharpest lady at class. You're the leader. Well, I wouldn't be I said, I know you wouldn't, but I have to share to complete my training. Would you please let me share with you just like that? They said, yes. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was excited, as Joyce so articulately shared. A made-up mind reduces fear. I decided to invest in my personal development and made a commitment to attend everything that the company offered. And I even went to seminar after a C-section with a 6-month-old Michael. I was not supposed to travel. I disobeyed the doctors. With my mother-in-law in tow and missed almost all of the classes. But I was there. I got some of them. He was nursing. When there were company promotions, I did my best to earn them. I printed the advance brochure for Mary Kay my first week in the company. Remember, I made a plan, and I said, where is the money? And I was thinking and very intelligent in my approach. I wasn't winging it because I was in this to be a pro. What do I do to make the most money? And it is about the people, and it was about relationships, or I wouldn't have the organization I have, but this is a business class right now. I had to be paid like a career, so I immediately discovered that promoting myself to sales director would be the most profitable. I immediately simply took out a piece of paper and put 30 lines on it for each unit member required to become a sales director, and I made up my mind to get to 10 so I could go into DIQ fast. All I thought about was, where's my 10? That was my only thought. Where's my 10? I got to get 10 and I'm in. I'm in to be a manager with this company. Back then they called it manager. I'm like, 10, that's all I care. I'm going to attract 10. Who are they and what are they looking for? And I made a list of what I wanted. I'll cover that in a minute. I prayed to God on my knees in my ugly, ugly little rental house. And I'll remember the chair where I was sitting. It's the light pink table in the coffee section in the studio that's painted pink. I'll keep it forever. And I told God that I knew that He knew where my 30 ladies were, since He knew where everyone in the world was. And would He please lead me to my 30? I claimed the verse, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door shall be open, Matthew 7:7. And my 25, Matthew 7:7, innocent self, I said, here's your verse. You told me ask, seek, knock. And I'm asking you in the name of Jesus to help me find these 30. And I'm going to give you a lot of work to bless. And I want you to look down from heaven. And I prayed about the team that I wanted. If you look at our unit, you'll notice there's not one type in Audrey's unit. Then I thought, since I'm hiring for my own company, what 10 people would I most love to have on my team? And I made a list. I'm hiring. I'm the owner of the attributes I wanted my people on my team to have. You can make your own list of the character traits you want ladies on your team to have. I looked at who I knew. We were in a brand new town that we had lived in for 3 months. I didn't even know my neighbor. I did not have one family member. My husband had started a practice for a doctor who I did not know. All my college friends had since left. When I tell you I knew no one, I mean it. I did not. And I got, the way I booked was through Warm Chat. And that's another thing if you ever want to talk to me about it. I got very good at having people bring a friend or two, and I warm chatted sharp, confident women who intimidated me. I overdressed for my age, and unlike Megan, who was raised in a confident home, I was not without makeup because I'm not like that. It's not who I was. I was not confident and did not come from a great background, and I looked my best, and I got up, and I quickly found there were no bookings at home. And I got out and I'm like, where do working women go? I know because I was one of them there at the coffee place. In Lynchburg at that time, there was no Starbucks, believe it or not. There was McDonald's where we got our coffee. So I went in. And I'll never forget my first day working Mary Kay. I had 5 ladies by 9 a.m. They're zooming through for their coffee. 3 of them are still my customers today. 2 are my recruits. 2 I don't know where they are, and etc. I also strategically looked at having a diverse team of ladies in different age groups and different professions. That way, I would reach many different circles of people. I could also sell a wider variety of products since younger ladies would be in the market for different products than wiser ladies. I began my business with a 600 wholesale level inventory. I quickly learned that one reason I was frustrated and not confident was that the beauty boutique my customers had access to was too small and I couldn't really meet their needs. I was also wasting a lot of time making deliveries and losing a lot of money at the close of the sale when I didn't have what they wanted, and I could tell I was not making the first impression I wanted to make. So I went to my husband and I said, will you give me a chance? I know we have no money. I need to buy a full store for this company, and reminded him that a McDonald's franchise costed $500,000 and all I needed was $3,600. He said, okay, but you got to pay the bill and you got to make it happen. We have to have this much a week. I said, no problem. 25 years old, cha-ching, charged every bit of it on a credit card. Not telling you to do that if not so what you want to do, but I was serious. It was so much fun to have everything that my sales and confidence immediately increased. My sales went from a piddly 150 to 200 a week to consistently 500 to 800. I know myself well, know thyself well. Although I have a strong personality, I have a gigantic heart, read up on 8s, gigantic. And I want to please you and help you and meet your every need. And yes, I have Rosebud. You don't want that, Rosewood. You want that, Fancy Nancy. And I'm that girl. You don't want that, I got this skincare. You want the other bra, I got that one for you too. It threw my confidence through the roof. A potential very strategic homework assignment would be, list on the left why I'm not confident. List on the right solution, which I'll get to in a minute. That was one of my very simple solutions. It just took money. Took me, I don't remember, it's been 28 years ago, a little hot minute to pay that off, but it solved a ton of problems. A ton of problems. The number one skill that I developed and worked hard at being good at was booking. I quickly learned that if I couldn't get in front of someone and couldn't overcome booking objections, I was out of business. At appointments, I gave an intentional presentation of the referral game, which you've already been taught on. I also learned that birds of a feather flock together. So if she was high quality, she referred me to high quality, and I moved quickly through appointments that were not high quality because they didn't know the difference. I was in, I was out, thank you. Didn't know. Be smart. Be smart. I got a clear weekly sales goal. Remember, I had to make a certain amount of money. What do you have to do? It's called the habit of necessity. The problem with many Americans is one word: we are comfortable. And the yapping dog in the back of our head says, I don't really have to sell 300 a week. And our subconscious goes to work at exactly what we have been telling it, because we don't have to. Try having to. It's fun. The reason so many people in Mary Kay are so unhappy and so motivated, and I just don't feel it. Did you know that being mediocre, it ain't generating what you want? It's one reason you're all up in a knot. Because you had so much left to give when you put your head on the pillow at night. The days in Mary Kay when you worked your hardest, even if they all said no and it was an awful party and whatever, but you did all you got. Think about that day. I promise you, your psychology and how you were then was better, even if it was a tough day like when Megan cried her eyes out. I promise you. Think about that long and hard. That's a whole nother class. My goal was written down and tracked in the front of my book. You can laugh at me, but I've made 6 figures for over 15 years. Ooh. So if my goal was 300 and I sold 25 today, I legit, at the end of the day, I'm a salesperson. 275 to go. 250 to go. You want to learn how to sell? Your husband's got to get groceries. Stand up. 3 college educations, paid, walking down the aisle, no debt baggage. You better start thinking. Wake up about the future of your children, because it's coming. You want a pretty prom dress? You say you don't need no money? Guess what? You lying. You lying. You say money doesn't motivate you? You avoid it. You say you want to go to these places? Help your parents travel? Do you work like you want to? I don't think you want to. I watch at 52 years old, and sorry, this is hardcore. My daddy told me this the other day, and I thought, Daddy'd be right, he's 80. He said, I don't listen to anything anybody says. I said, Dad, that's kind of mean. He goes, no, it isn't. I watch them. I watch what they do. So that's between you and God. We each give an account of ourselves to God. We're going to get up there, and He's going to say, what'd you do with my talent? With my son, Jesus, what'd you do? when I was getting this lake house ready and I was tired. I'm not a young woman. Making 20 beds takes a minute. My assistant didn't make the beds. And I'm not here to brag or boast, or I'm telling you how I live. I'm praying somebody gonna lay in this bed. Somebody gonna be right here. It's gonna travel. Bless this pillow. You know how much energy that gives you? When you are so focused on other people, you guys, if we can only say one thing and be done, you are going to be filled with energy. It's amazing to change lives. I learned most of what I did by advanced preparation and practice. I figured out what I was going to say about the skincare and how to overcome objections. Some of you can roll on the fly. Keep rolling on it if it's working. This is my story. That's not who I am. I wanted to get a win. I'm a strategist. Eric and I are a lot alike, and we want to know what we're going to do, and we got a reason we're going to do it, and it made me more confident. The whole goal was to take the broken 25-year-old girl that had the broken past. Remember, if I could get rid of my past, what I shared I would change, and to do everything I could at 25 to rebuild it and be like, this isn't how I'm supposed to be. I'm jacked up. This ain't right. This ain't tight or right. Go to seminar, but she's so calm. Look at her and what's up with her. And I quickly figured out was what was on my inside. Doesn't matter what the heck you look like. It doesn't matter. That's why I was doing what I was doing. So help thyself with what thy need, if you know what I'm saying. I literally was at home and verbally said out loud at that little table what I was going to do. And I pretended I was receiving different objections and gave myself pop quizzes at home, if you will. I was a former athlete, and we were taught that you play like you practice. We were coached that to win the game, you had to be conditioned. You had to be ready for defense. I was a guard in basketball, and you didn't want me to guard you. You wanted to get the point. And I also ran track. I was a little firecracker. I looked at the skill of overcoming booking objections like defense in a non-defensive way. For me, being prepared in advance was professional conditioning. I didn't want it to take forever to move up, and I needed to get results and wins when I was working so I could leave corporate America. My desire to change my situation helped me overcome obstacles and fears. My desire was stronger than my fear. Is your desire stronger than your fear? Oh, I learned not to take stuff personally. My mindset was, I have signed up to be a salesperson. Salespeople get no's, the whole stick of gum illustration. When I did get no's, the only thing I did was evaluate if I could have taken a different approach to get the win, pivot, move, become better. I was quick to pivot if something didn't work, and I was very, very willing to learn. I was the compliant child consultant in a big leader way. When I say I called and got a lot of help, I promise you I did. Great leaders have humility. They have great humility. Hungry, humble. I was bringing a calculator to the grocery store when I joined Mary Kay, and our grocery budget was $40 a week in 1993. I know how to balance a calculator where nobody can see in this section. I know how to put meat back. You can't have Frito-Lay, and you can't have meat. You can have beans, and if you get them in a bag and make them yourself, it's the cheapest way to eat, and so is rice cheap. I know how to wipe a toilet paper that scratches. I'm not trying to be inappropriate. There is no Charmin. I was poor. I was. I never missed a weekly unit meeting, and I've never missed a seminar or career conference. This is not to make anyone feel guilty. This is a class about successful entrepreneurship from a woman who loves her life and makes 6 figures, which paid for 18 years of educations for 3 children. Along with Todd, it's not just me, we did it together. Successful entrepreneurs take personal development seriously because they own the company. Takes 4 key things: confidence, belief, work ethic, and skill. Confident, belief, work ethic, and skills. Your reward is flexibility and high compensation. Confidence, belief, work ethic, skill. A practical work week. My directors wanted me to share this with you. When I worked Mary Kay full time, I attended girls' night out and I brought guests. Today, this would mean inviting your recruit prospects to your Zoom or your in-person meetings once you've done the Mary Kay process. I held a party 1 night a week and 2 on Saturdays. No matter when they were held, it was 3 appointments a week. For training, team members came with me to my appointments. I let them know every week, this is when they are, you can come to me and join me, and they assisted me. I taught them to listen, take notes. We had so much fun. We both learned more. It was also a lot easier, like having 2 women in a kitchen. I booked every chance I got. I began to book on my lunch hour. I'd get in my car, eat my bag lunch, and book for as much of what that hour as I could. I would also book after work. Any spare minute was to get more bookings and follow up with prospects. I kept them all in one place, and hence the brain book was born. They were in a tab. I have them right now. You can get to them. Booking was my top priority. In order to become a sales director, I knew I needed to get in front of about 150 people to recruit 30 because I wasn't a good recruiter at the time. I got about 1 in 5. So I had a list with 150 lines on it. It freed me up. When you begin to think big and you look at your number and that's what you have to do, it's not constricting, it's freeing. I'm like, this is my assignment. And when I wouldn't get results, I said, there's nothing wrong with Mary Kay, there's something wrong with me. What am I distracted about? Stop it, get in front of them. Because when I did, even if I wasn't very good, I still got the win. It was amazing. Now, okay, this is, let's see, pure truth. Yeah. Now, to get in a DIQ with 10, you get 3 moved up to red, you're at 19, and the rest is easy. Back then, we had to get all 30 ourselves. There was no teams of teams at all. Remember the day? 30, you got them, nobody else got them. Think about this, you got them. It was all on you. And you couldn't even go into director qualification until you had earned a car because Mary Kay wanted her directors driving her car. So we were master skilled consultants. Remember the awesome day? It was a great idea because when we were in our car, I'd zoomed around and they're like, and you've got the car. I was very young. Yes, they're like, okay, and I had grown women going, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll take it. Wow, your success. Okay, I want to hear what you get. It changed everything for me. Have a car. Plus, then we're breaking down car problems. New car smell. You're the hot shot Mary Kay's great. You need to get a car. Don't take the cash. Get the dang car. There's Mary Kay blazing on the side of it. What's that going to do for you in Yuma? A freaking whole lot. It's amazing. Mary Kay Ash, we have, I won't say it on film. I interviewed absolutely everyone, even if they weren't interested, because I was doing what my director said and I wanted to be her. I didn't question. You know how much it aggravates the snot out of us when you don't do what we train you to do and we're where you want to be? A lot. I'm like, really? You didn't share with anybody because, and then there's the story. Cut the story. Do your job. Excuse me. I'm glad you had these sweet, nice teachers. I'm not that girl. Have your packets ready. If they do have to go, they go in the bag. This is for you. I just recruited a level freaking 20 lady the other day because if this is for you in your bag, she called me. She goes, I know I didn't have time and I blew you off. What's this 50% stuff? I just paid you da-da-da. I said, Debbie, girl, you wouldn't listen to me. She goes, I'm listening. I got skilled by working, not always by winning. Sometimes people I never thought would join became my team members just because I was sharing. I told you what I told them, leadership training. Everybody went home with a packet. My consultant in Atlanta never shared the Mary Kay opportunity with me, even though I bought lots of products. When we moved to Virginia, my consultant immediately shared with me by doing a practice interview with her director. She put the avenues of income in my bag, and I was blown away by 50%. She immediately invited me to her girls' night out, and that sold me on the warm and wonderful culture of Mary Kay coming from corporate America. I was not used to seeing women be nice to each other, and I was hooked. I worked very closely with my director. What this looked like was I called her after every single party or facial. No one told me to do this. Leaders lead themselves independently. No one should be pushing you. We're looking for those who push themselves, which is why you're sitting in the room. We do not need to chase you down. I shouldn't have to chase you down. Right? That's why you're in this room. It's so cool. This is going to make you sound ancient, but can you believe text didn't exist? It's okay. Only a few people even had cell phones. Our communication was very solid because we had a conversation. I would tell her about my sales, ask questions about different stuff that happened at the party and got her advice. I would ask her what to say and how I could do stuff better. This is how all the scripts I used were born. I learned quickly that she was a better communicator than me, and when I applied the skills and concepts she taught me, I immediately got better results. It was so exciting. Communication is the tool. You have to build your business. It's like your little pink secret weapon. I also had a lot of positive energy and vibes. I woke up every day thinking of the Pied Piper that my mom read to me in nursery school. Played a happy tune. Joyce is exhibit 1 for this. I'm going to follow you. I couldn't care if she's holding a candle. I'll take it. Where are you going? This is fun. Let's go. Let's sell some more candles. Most importantly, we would talk about the prospects I had shared the opportunity with at the parties. This way, we would follow up together. Did you notice that your sales director is highly compensated to work with you? Why isn't she working with you? Because you're not calling her. Why do you not trust her? Because you need to have a healthy conversation. What you going to say when you call Joyce? How's this go? And then what's going to happen? Because the reason you don't trust her is because you need to improve your confidence. Or maybe you're prideful. Or maybe you're really not a team player and you're really independent. And it's okay if you don't like me. I'm an Olympic coach. I'm here to create Olympians. You don't have her jacket. So I suggest you pivot after this weekend and make her work for her money. Also, after each interview, I got better. I'd say, Carmen, I said this, and she said that, and I said this, and she said that, and then what'd she say? Just like this. And she said, oh, I tell you what, if you would say this, and I said, yes, ma'am. I write it down. I'll try that next time. Even though it's not Audrey, it doesn't feel normal. I saw some of y'all when Megan was teaching, I'm like, they ain't gonna do some of this. They're scared to do it. They need to do it. Not really. I couldn't see. I don't have eyes in the back of my head. And I'm thinking this is a confident level class. But I did it. And just like if you follow your grandma's cake recipe, if you've never made the cake, it's probably going to turn out, might not have quite her crusty edges, but it's still going to taste real close. And I would say what Carmen did, and I'm like, that worked. Then guess how I felt? Oh, totally different results. Why do you want to get on a top director trip when you all shared last night, hey, you want to travel? I thought every single one of these women needs to earn a trip. I've been to 15 countries, all expenses paid. Being in the highest, most expensive place in that country, eating the most expensive, you would travel for free with Mary Kay. But you can't do it if you're not highly skilled. Y'all, you can go on a top director trip. The only reason I didn't earn one earlier is my director quit. Nobody ever told me I could do it. There are girls on these trips, I'm like, how long you been to Mary Kay? She's like, it's my 2nd year, how you doing? I'm thinking, loser, okay, well, congratulations to you. And I said, top answer on the board, every single one of them. Why'd you do it? They said, well, my top director, here she is, or my senior director, here she is right now. Let me introduce you to her. Susie Hotshot here, she told me I could do it. And so I'm a brand new person. I looked at my numbers and this is how we did it. So I did it because I was told I could do it and I did it. What are you telling yourself you can do? Okay, when I worked, oh, there's so much. My director, I want to say this, I had a monthly goal. I was on purpose about moving up. I had a tab in my brain put called recruiting. I kept a list of everyone I shared with and I followed up like a boss. I was on purpose about that and I had a monthly goal of how many people I would add to my team in a month. So by the 15th of the month, I better be at 2 or 3. This is a business. When you hold yourself accountable to hard stuff, guess what it does? Believe it or not, even if you're scared out of your mind, it increases confidence. The girls that I work with that are the happiest are the uncomfortable ones. It's not my lazy ones. They're not really that happy. Sorry to call them lazy. Maybe they're not lazy. Maybe they're distracted. My director never, I want you to stay with me, never, this is a true story, never did an interview with me or any of my prospects, and she never one time went to a party with me. Back then, you attended training and then applied what you learned. It's just the way we rolled. Why do I share this with you? Because doing your own work will build your confidence, but you must follow up with your sales director on the prospects. The sales director's job back then, they trained us, is to help you become a director or help you team build. I have a notebook that I would grab if my house caught on fire after grabbing my Bible and first my children's pictures, and it was called Lessons Learned. And I would come home after so many bad appointments. I wasn't doing good. Y'all wasn't the queen of nothing. You wouldn't have picked me, promise. And I'd be like, well, this didn't go good. I didn't do this. And Carmen quit. My director quit. I'm like, I ain't got nobody. I'm like, all right, well, does this give you hope? I'd be like, all right, next time I ain't doing that. Mary Cash said in a speech one time, you don't do something till you're mad. So, okay. You're bonded with and have people buy in with you. What a week looked like when I went full-time Mary Kay. I wrote cap letters, pure joy in heaven, pure relief. I felt so free. No more rushed lunch hours, no more being boxed into somebody else's schedule. I could build my own company and my creativity just exploded. I was literally so happy. My business exploded. I was zooming around in my Mary Kay car, the first good car I had ever even had, insurance paid. I was on top of the world. It was literally fabulous to be able to call ladies and offer them lots of different appointment times from the weekly plan sheet that I had created for when I wanted to work. I literally was so less stressed out. I started cooking more for Todd. I love to cook. The way it looked was I would get up, have my quiet time, exercise for an hour, shower, get to the office, hold as many appointments as I could. I had time to go to lunch with a friend on a non-Mary Kay thing. I have some really close friends. I love spending time with them. Cook dinner for my husband. Love my life. I was disciplined and I worked my schedule just like I would if I worked for a company. I worked out of commitment, not emotion. I gave off great vibes and I was emotional about what I was excited about. I love what I did so much that people could just tell, and they started buying me before they bought Mary Kay, as Kelly so beautifully described, referring their friends and joining their team. Those who didn't join, I tried really hard to get them to be hostesses. That way I met lots more people. I was generous with my hostesses, and what I gave out back to them came back to me threefold. Some days were hard days, but on the hard days were still easier than at corporate America, and that was my mindset. It's my job, it's my company, I'm committed, and I am not an end of the month girl. I showed up, and I showed up, and I showed up, and I showed up, and nobody was watching. And I showed up, and nobody looked when I was hot and came in and made $50, and they actually only made $25 at that one. And I showed up, 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 and it's called The Slight Edge, my favorite business book I've ever read. It's easy to eat an apple today, it's easy not to. It's easy to walk for 30 minutes today, it's easy not to. It's easy to make 2 booking calls today and get 1 and get 2 bookings a day, and it's darn easy not to. And it's the not tos that cost us our life. So, when my team members didn't want to work or hard or listen, I tried not to take it personally. After all, I wasn't their boss, they were the owners of their own business, and I learned that out of 10 ladies, it was a third, a third, a third. So I learned very quickly, this is a very difficult thing, y'all. This is a big one in Mary Kay. This drags us down. That thing Lynn illustrated. Oh no. You are responsible for yourself. I'm going to be the best, most rock solid, consistent, emotional support you've got and love you all day long. But my time, wake up, it's limited. Because I got Laura, I got Kelly. They're hungry. And I got no time for what you said but didn't do and just meant to one more time. Y'all, that's confidence. Also, the psychology of, she's kind of busy. Plus, as a director, you know how much we get paid for working on our personal business? You just found out on Joyce's income statements. So when we ain't working for ourselves and we working for you, I'm just saying. I ain't saying nothing else about that. I'm gonna go.
I don't want to throw you off, but I think on the last page you said something about work out of commitment, not emotion. Can you just restate that? You started picking up because you looked at your watch, and I just want to make sure I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, I work at it. We're going to go over by 10 minutes, and I'm sorry because we've got to get to the mental part, and y'all can eat your sandwich in 50 minutes instead of an hour, and I'm real sorry. I worked out of commitment, not emotional, but I gave off great vibes, and I was emotional about what I was excited about. Thank you, Kelly. And that's all that said. And then it was about how people started joining me because they could tell I loved it. I was so happy. I had worked so long and so hard on some schedule that I hated. Plus, I had a fire under my grass because there wasn't no paycheck coming anymore. It created immense discipline. But it was awesome! And we began to save money because I was cooking and not eating fat. I can just tell you that's a whole other class. It helped us financially. I had more energy for my husband in every way you can imagine. He was happier. Confidence attracts people. How did I build my confidence? When you have a problem, you focus on the solution. So if we want to increase our confidence, we focus on ourselves specifically and identify why we aren't confident and what the solutions are. There's a sheet in your packet, don't get it out right now, about all the things that don't take skill. When I was typing it, not to brag or boast, I said I did almost all these things. I wasn't skilled, but I did those things. Read it and work on them. I made a list of everything that I was confident about. I told you about the books. I got a professional hairstyle, and I got somebody to help me with my makeup and my wardrobe. I only had the money to get one outfit and one good pair of shoes, and I'm really not kidding, and we didn't have beauty coats back then. And I wore it a lot, and I washed it, and I got 2 blouses so I didn't stink, excuse me. I got rid of this is my life, it's my story, it's what I really did, legit. I'll never forget, some person intimidated me, came over, and she was like, "You're a wardrobe." And I go, "It's fine." I was non-emotional, I go, and I got rid of every single piece of clothing that did not make me feel confident. I went through my house, I'm like, I don't like this. I hate this old thing. It did something for me. I didn't know about Marie Kondo. I don't think she had written her book back then. I got my business stuff lined up to where I was excited about it and proud of it. I looked at my party setup, my business setup, and I said, could I attract a level 10 confident woman if I met her today? I already said all that. The number one reason I became a successful entrepreneur, we saved the best for last, and we're going to go sci-fi. Joyce will like that. It means get scientific. Mental strength, thought processes. Hang in there and listen to this. Hang in there. Without this, none of the rest of this would have happened. Seriously. There comes a time in our life when we must say one word. Enough. To write to one. I went back to the farm, got treated that way, went through all those emotions, and I'm like, no more. I had been to seminar, and I said, enough! And I figured out this was a muscle. This is real deep and not the easiest read, but it's helpful to it. This is why Olympic athletes rehearse. I'm going to run the mile in 5 point. I did it in track. My coach said, "You're going to run the mile," and da-da-da. And I was thinking, he's nuts. He's shaving this much off my time in track. That's like, He said, "You're going to do it. You're going to think about it. Here's your number. I'm going to hold it up. You see, you didn't do it. You just made seconds." He made me dang mad. A good coach, not comfortable. Volleyball, libero, etc. You begin thinking about what it's going to be. That's why I write my numbers down. This is what I'm going to hit. We did million, my friends. It means a lot of numbers. Let me get back to my notes. Our life is what our thoughts make it. When you see a successful person, the next one you interview, don't ask them what they're doing. Say, tell me about what are you thinking? What do you think about that? Interview all kind of successful people. I do it all the time, whatever profession they're in. What do you think? What have you learned about being a leader? What's worked for you? What hasn't? Constantly, don't you? Your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe after God. It is very interesting that every cell of the body is connected to the heart, and the brain controls the heart, and the mind controls the brain. So whatever we're thinking about affects every cell of our body. The easiest, most simple, non-complex way to figure this out that someone who worked with me did is she said, For 1 week, you have to write down every time it's not positive. You're thinking, you must write it down. You're going to return or journal, report to me. Did you know that people that have to be accountable are like 90% more productive than those who aren't? If you don't think it's true, look at Olympic athletes, military personnel. They are sign up. The military trains them. You're going to do this. And what do they come out? Marines march like no one else. Why is that? Someone disciplined them. They had to be accountable. And guess what? If they didn't do it, the whole team has to start over. You think that'll make you have teamwork? Yeah. Musicians, yep. Discipline, accountability. Are you accountable to someone? If you're not, put it on your list. That's amazing. Mary Kay taught us if you think you can, you can't. If you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right. Having the mindset of this is my number one shortest mantra that I think all the time. Write this down. Whatever happens to me, I can handle it. Whatever happens to me, I can handle it. It's with the Lord's strength, but that's whatever happens to me, I can handle it. Having the belief that you can learn any skill. I promise I'm done in about 2 minutes. Happiness comes from within and success follows, not the other way around. Happiness comes from within and success follows, not the other way around. You can get the chaos. Here are truths. These are truths. You can get the chaos in your mind under control. You can overcome feelings of rejection and hurt. If you wired those toxic thoughts in, you can wire them out. You don't have to get stuck in bad habits. You can change them. Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx, said, you are the way you are because it's the way you want to be. If you really wanted to be any different, you would be in the process of changing right now. My favorite quote that I love to hate. You don't have to worry about things that are out of your control. You don't have to keep digging in the past to get free from it. This is a huge concept many don't understand. It's a whole nother class. You can be happy and filled with peace regardless of your circumstances. You cannot control the events and circumstances of life, but you can control your reaction to your events and circumstances. You can change your brain with your mind and essentially renew your mind. Romans 12:2, please write it down. Do not conform anymore to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Getting your thoughts disciplined and under control is one of the first steps in freeing yourself of the burdens of the world and beginning to enjoy life despite the burdens of the world. As we consciously direct our thinking, we can wire out toxic patterns of thinking and replace them with healthy thoughts. Did you know it is scientifically proven new thoughts and networks grow? I live this. I came from something. Just last week, one of those people said something to me, and I said this, he didn't know it. That's not true. You're not allowed in. That's not true. You're being mean to me, but I'm nice. You're not being nice. And I'm 52, and I'm successful, and you're still not being nice. You don't change 80-year-olds, my friends. You change yourself. Whatever you think about the most, you will grow, and write this down, because I've got a lot more, and I'm done. I want you to write this one down. When you believe you can, your mind finds ways to do it. When you believe you can, your mind finds ways to do it. The brain can get worse, physiologically worse, it's proven, by constantly focusing on the problem, and the brain can get better by how understanding to eliminate and erase the problem. You're not allowed to talk to me that way. I'm getting off the phone soon because this is toxic, and you're not allowed in, but I respect you and I honor you. But no. And I'm going to be good when I hang up too because of the personal healing. Lamentations 3:23. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to change in response to thinking. Proverbs 23:7. As he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. 2 Timothy 1:7. The scripture is clear on this. We are wired for love, and fear is a learned, not a natural response. Think of your children and how fearless and the things they fell off and climbed and did. Oh, that's your example. Fear is a learned response. This is the verse. For God did not give us a spirit. He didn't give it to you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Philippians 4:8 is God's instruction on what to think on. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, whatever is lovely, whatever is honorable, whatever is of a good report, think on these things. I carry it around in my wallet on a 3x5. That's why I know it. So when the devil comes after me, I'm like, nope, here's my weapon. Whatever is this, get away from me. Bye-bye. So, my directors also wanted me to teach you how to attract people. You were already taught on that. My only thought, without going in on that, is when you want to meet people and attract them, you will, because it's the vibe you're going to put off. You're so capable because you're in here. Even if you think you're not, you went through a lot of effort to be here. You want more. We want you to know, if you could see what we see for you, your mind would probably be blown. And I want Kelly to come up here. I want you to know one thing about being a sales director, and I've learned a lot from coaching folks for a long time. This is what I know. Okay, this is it. This will give you all hope. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your personality is, what your Enneagram is, what your disc is, what your husband, it don't matter. Every single director that I have developed has done this one thing before they became a director. This is it. And I'm a harmony person, so sometimes I actually baby people, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe at this moment. I'm like, it's okay. We can begin again. You know, you could do the 4 months. They have all said this to me. Oh no. You're making me mad, Audrey. I made up my mind. And I figured that I'm going to do, like Erica said yesterday, I had to have 6. Every one of them had a made up mind that they were going to do it. They're all very different. They all have different skills. It was all in their mind. And some of them were like, if you could just quit calling me and get out of my way. And I'm really busy right now. And I really appreciate all your love and support, but like, I'm busy. I got to get this done. I'm like, she's got it. You get it. What is your mind made up about? If you're not called to be a sales director, who cares? What are you called to be? Because we need you guys. We're directors. We're a team. We're a winning team. And when we finish this national area, which you may not know what that is, and that's okay, you're going to be standing on the stage or having helped someone get up there. And we're all going to have matching shoes because I'm going to buy them for you. I have a shoe fund. I've been saving all this big money I make. Don't worry, I'm saving it for your shoes. I've gone on the weddings and education. I'm like, now for the shoes.
I'm really good at shopping. Don't worry, I got this.
What I'm saying is, you guys, if you don't really want to do it for you, we could use your help. It's awesome, but do it for you. But like y'all, just like we're so encouraging to you, do you know how encouraging you are to us as your directors that you came and that you did your 30? Carly sent me her picture right up until the last. She sent it. Carly is 20-something. I'm 50-something. She made my day. She don't even know it. She a baby. She's a really smart baby. You make our day. You don't know it. It's awesome. They all made up their mind. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I know I always go over. The Lord will work out our time. Thank you for listening. We love you. We love you so much. Have an awesome lunch. Please turn the video off. Bye-bye.